Beast, what's good? What's good? All right, the sound is coming through. The sound is good. It's good. All right, let's get this intro off the screen. Intro's off the screen. All right, good. Make sure we look straight on the screen. I got a new layout on my I got a new layout how I do my stream, so I'm looking lost at the beginning because I'm like, this look a little bit different, but it's the reason why it looks different. Good morning, Beast. Good morning, Tim. I saw a video yesterday of Shador warming up on the field. He looked pretty fine throwing the ball. Yeah, I saw that too. He went through like a 15-minute pre-warm up, and they wanted to see how he felt. Um, they he I guess alerted them that he had back tightness. Beast, if you remember, family friend Boog, he went on X yesterday and said basically that's not something Shador would lie about. It is tightness that he was feeling, and it's just precautionary. It's not like a major thing, but it's a precautionary step that they took. So, I trust Shador. I trust the people close to him that they wouldn't play games. So I'm just gonna roll with what they said. Um, Perhaps Shador got sage advice to be still and watch the dumpster fire. I mean, it's possible. The only thing is you risk losing the guys who are rooting for you in the locker room who want to see you play. So just it's a delicate balance. It's definitely a delicate balance, kind of weighing that out. So you definitely don't want to lose support you have and the people who want to see you play. So just a fine balance. I think Shador is going to be fine. I think we are getting to a place that we always could be. And y'all will see with the videos I have laid out today, with me throwing it back to some things that I said previously, I always saw us ending up in this place. People who did not see us ending up here, it was never football related. It was always because they hoped that we would do better. So if you notice, a lot of times when people ask me questions on my stream, I'm always going back to football reasons. I'm always using football answers. How do you beat this defense? How do you help out this quarterback? How do you excel in this way? And one thing about football is everything takes away something, but also gives something. And you got to be willing to take what is giving so you can have success. If you're not willing to take that, then you're going to be stuck. And that's what the Browns offense is. It's stuck. Jamie, what's good? Shout out to you. We got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. Let's see what we got going on the docket. Let me make sure I got some stuff good on my phone here. All right, that looks straight. That looks good. Get this other earphone in. The funny thing is, a lot of people are starting to sound like me. A lot of people are starting to sound like how I've sounded previously. And the difference is I looked at football related things and I was like, this is going to be willing or able. That's true. That's true. Combination of both, Tim. Dillon Gabriel is some of both. He's not able to push the ball downfield where it could threaten the defense consistently enough. And he's also not willing to. So he has a double whammy. He has a double whammy that's holding him back. So a lot of people are getting to where I've been. And we're going to do some rewinds. We're going to show y'all some things so y'all can see that this is something that you should have saw coming. And if you didn't see this coming, it's because you were just having blind hope and blind faith in people who haven't given us reasons why we should be believing in them. So that's how I wrapped up. Zedric, what's good? That's a really good way to look at it. This injury helped people focus on the game instead of Shador. Seems like a blessing in disguise. That's a great way to look at it. When everything goes back to the football that's being played, that is when the real evaluations happen. When you let them have all these distractions, it's hard to focus on what's really going on. When it's all football related, you get to see the truth. So I got 2 teasers coming up. I got 2 teasers for the direction of this show and where it's going to go. Good morning, Tessa. I'll say it again. He had every opportunity to throw the ball and he didn't. That's it. It's a consistent thing with Dillon Gabriel that I'm not saying Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees scheme up 20 wide open plays a game. They scheme up maybe 4 or 5 plays a game that could change the game. And Dillon Gabriel either can't see it due to limitations with his size, height, all those things, or he's not willing to take the throw because he thinks it's not open. Whichever one it is, it's happening about 4 or 5 times a game. And it happened in Minnesota, but people overlooked it, and they said Minnesota was the good game. Then they said, the Steelers was the bad game, and it was the situation they put them in. We 4 games in this thing. In Miami, it didn't look good. I mean, when we played Miami and Cleveland, it didn't look good. It didn't look good yesterday. His offense, the offense with Dillon Gabriel is very close to what it is to what it was with Joe Flacco. We're going to show y'all some stats from that. Here's your own sports. What's good? Some point today, Harris, I'm gonna yesterday I remembered I wanted to respond to you about the short videos. So at some point, one of your videos, I'm gonna check them out later today, and I'm gonna leave you a comment just with some ideas on shorts and kind of what I do with shorts. So I remember at some point today I'll get it done for you. Good morning, Ms. Brown. We get into it. We are getting to it. All right, so I just want to give you all a teaser of what we're going to talk about in this show, what we're really going to get to. This is going to be the first teaser right here. Let's go here. Let's take this down. First teaser, this is a throwback. This is from 3 weeks ago I said this. So this is our first teaser. Even though everybody goes back, they watch the tape a million times, some things you know in the moment. So if you were on the stream yesterday, when the Browns are at the 1 yard line, they ran the QB sneak on second down. I was like, what are we doing? All right, that's a little bit too early in it. Let me move forward just a tad bit. I think it's right about the 6-minute mark is when I get to the point I want to make, right about here. It's one reason why I believe Kevin is on the hot seat. It's not from performance. It's not from the Browns. Kevin is on the hot seat because his players on the defense, the way that they're playing, the way that they're balling, they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you have enough of those players on the defense who are producing, who are under contract, who are in their prime, a Myles Garrett, a Denzel Ward, those guys go upstairs and say, hey, Kevin is not the guy. That is how Kevin can lose his job, even if the owner wants to keep him. There you go. Just a little throwback for y'all. So I've been speaking this way. I didn't just start speaking this way when it's going bad. I've been speaking this way because I saw this coming, and there was a lot of football reasons I saw laid out for this going this way. Zedric, yeah, they all sound like how you have sounded for the past few months. Took way too long to get to this point. I totally agree. I was looking at football-related things, and I was also looking at Kevin Stefanski's history as a play caller and how he's been as a head coach with the Browns. That's how I came to these conclusions. And another thing I had to do was not put it through the football lens. I put it through the life lens. So if you put anything through the life lens with the Cleveland Browns, you see how often they make bad decisions. KS owes DJ an apology for putting him in this situation. He was treated like a first-round selection from the beginning when he clearly wasn't even a third-round talent. On my YouTube channel, my most viewed short is the Browns are setting Dillon Gabriel for failure, and you just articulated that, Keith. I put that video out in the summer. I think it was around 14,000 views. I saw it early, and you just articulated. So we're on the same page, Keith. Good morning, CB. What's going on? Let's get, I got another teaser. The timing that has them comments this weekend are ironic. What they were trying to do is they were trying to instill confidence in Kevin Stefanski. That's what they were trying to do, and it didn't work. It didn't work. This football game went about as bad as it could go for Kevin Stefanski. About as bad as it could go. Now everybody's saying, DG not the guy. Really? Took you that long to get here? We're 2-6. Remember a week ago I showed y'all they was talking about playoffs? I'm like, they're crazy. There's no way you looking at this team and thinking they can win a division or make the playoffs. They were saying that a week ago. Now they sound like this week. It's insane. It is insane. Let's go back. I always talk about my TikTok, and I want to show y'all something because now they're dancing around between blaming Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. Now this is a talent thing. I said it was an overall regime thing. That's why even after the win last week, I still came out on Monday and said I would tear the whole thing down and start over. I didn't move off of that point. And a lot of people would have just accepted the win and then be let down this week. I already knew last week I still would have moved off of all of them. So I'm still on schedule. They're still trying to catch up. But I got something else to show y'all. Just a little teaser before we really get into the show. Let's see. Let's go here. Take this down. Man, TikTok is weird in the browser, but y'all gonna be able to hear what I'm saying. This is from, I believe, September 3rd is when I said this, before the season started. Let's go. And Andrew Berry walked into. They walked into Myles Garrett. They walked into Denzel Ward. They walked into Nick Chubb in his prime. They walked into Baker Mayfield. They walked into Dorsey trading for Wyatt Teller. They walked into Joe Batonio. They walked into some ready-made parts, and they were close to a team doing well. And then what did Andrew Berry do? He took Alabama right tackle Jedrick Wills and moved him to left tackle, which that's not something you should do when you're that close. You should just get the best left tackle you can get, not try to do a project. Andrew Berry's track record of all his draft picks, if I can name you the top draft picks he has, that means there haven't been enough of them. And what? There you go. I've been saying this. This was before the season I said that. Tessa, they didn't beat Miami because of DG. I totally agree. People were fooled. That's why last week I was speaking on fooled by randomness. It was a random act that they beat the Miami Dolphins because they just were going against a team that was just so bad and just so out of it and so just kind of going through the motions based on their quarterback that they beat that team. They jumped on that team and it looked better. I was never impressed with the win. All the people who were saying it's a win, we won, be excited for the win. Are those same people keeping that same energy this week? I didn't believe in it before the win. I definitely didn't believe in it after the win. I feel the same way. There you go. Fool's gold. Exactly that. Now, we're going to get to a lot of things in this episode. It's going to be people starting to have some meltdowns. They starting to crash out in Cleveland radio. We're going to take it to Cleveland. Then we're going to go a little national. Y'all know how I like to do it, to just give you a wide scope of views while also giving you my input in between. So we're going to go all over the place. But first, we're not going to go straight to we're not going to dive right into just the negativity, I should say. So let's start off this thing with a little bit of motivation. I like to start my days with motivation. Then look at Miami this week. Facts didn't add up. They were just going through turmoil last week. That's all. They're just going through turmoil. Let's get some motivation. Sometimes I watch motivational clips and they just really resonate with me. So I'm gonna share them with y'all. So here we go. This is the first one. This is Denzel Washington. This is my favorite actor, Denzel Washington. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for this music, but let's go. I want y'all to hear this.
There'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Man, I love it. I love it. Tim Moss, always enjoy your play breakdown, coming soon. No Tuesday show now. I mean, I'm live 10:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we're definitely going to look at what Dillon Gabriel did on third down on Wednesday. So Wednesday, we're going to get that all 22 out. We're going to look at what he was doing on third downs. I just see so many missed opportunities on third down. So, Tim, we're going to get to that on Wednesday. One more motivational clip for y'all. I played this last week, but I just like this so much.
And I'm better now than I was when you saw that 22-year-old undeveloped kid running from Sunday Lister. I'm experienced now, professional. Jaws been broke, been knocked down a couple of times. Bad. Been chopping trees. I done something new for this fight. I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Man, dude.
Bad. Fast. Last night, I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
Incredible.
Fast.
Incredible.
And you, George Foreman, all of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you. I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am. Who knocks out everybody and
I just love that clip. Just love that. Never give up warming that bench, DG. That's where he's going. That is where he's going. Good morning, Brent. What's going on? Get your hands off me. just a little motivation. We're going to get to, that's a clip we're going to use later. Let's see. Let's get this up. Let's go here. Nope. Yeah, there we go. That's where we want to be. I saw some funny stuff, man. Mr. Ali, legendary. In 1978, he came to our high school. Very nice man. I'm so inspired by Muhammad Ali, his life, his legacy, that every once in a while, we just gonna play, because I believe that you can learn so much from the legends, and it doesn't matter which field they were in, you can learn a lot from. So just want to pass that on and share that with y'all. But that's a nice opportunity that you got to meet Muhammad Ali. I'm jealous of that for sure. I thought this was funny. So if you a guy around my age, at some point you tried to Beijing, you let them paint your head. There's more coaches taking shots at Stefanski and Barry. They smell the blood in the water. Zedric is always reading the rundown to the show. We're going to get to it. But something funny I saw, I wanted to share it with y'all. Everybody knows that people who are around the age of 40, we all tried Beijing at least one time. Look at Jaylen Brown.
Oh, this is actually crazy, bro. Not on the jersey, bro. What? Nah, I'm crying, son.
Man, he done left a whole skid mark on this stuff, man. Live to be an old, ventured out. I have been blessed. Yeah, definitely. I think the beauty of life is being able to live longer. Play the Khabib disciple video, man. It's awesome. I'm gonna add it to my notes. If we get time, I'll get to it today. Let me throw that in my notes real quick though. I like Khabib's. I like his mentality a lot. But I'm gonna add it to my notes. Discipline. Okay. One more funny video. I was watching this and I thought this was funny. Y'all ever go to your friend's house and they tell you, "Oh, don't worry about the dog. The dog don't bite." And as soon as y'all start eating some food, this happened. Look at Chris Paul.
Want to sit here?
What did he bark for?
Because no one's paying attention to him.
Let me get out your way then.
Sit right here.
That's the dog they tell you, "Don't worry about my dog. He don't bite." Man, your dog got teeth. He bite. Don't hit me with that. All right, let's go to X. I got a live look at Kevin Stefanski. I found him. This is Kevin Stefanski now. My man sitting in the fire saying, "Everything is fine. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. We're going to do better. We're going to turn this thing around. We win as a team. We lose as a team. It's on fire, my man. You got to do something. This is what, let me get to it. This is what Zedric was speaking on. This is the Patriots head coach. Now, usually it's not normal for head coaches to take jabs or disses at other head coaches. And when coaches do that, people call it out immediately, and they're like, "Hey, that's you messing up the coaching, coach code." But every once in a while, there's a coach that other teams don't respect, and when they don't respect that coach or that team, they will take shots at them. The last time I remember somebody taking a direct shot at another team was the coach of the Denver Broncos, who they hired before they had Sean Payton. Sean Payton just said it was a disaster, and he took a shot at him publicly when they were about to play them. That's the last time I can remember. It's not something that happens very often, but this is Mike Vrabel, and this is coming off the heels of about a week and a half ago, Mike Tomlin calling out Andrew Berry. So this is Mike Vrabel.
We got to take care of the ball better and continue to find opportunities. They hadn't turned it over. And then when their gimmick plays ran out, I thought we played pretty good defense.
So there are shots of Mike Vrabel laughing on the sideline as they're rolling Dillon Gabriel out there. This is Mike Vrabel saying, hey, the gimmick plays ran out. The script ran out. Once the 15 scripted plays ran out, we know we're going to be good. They're not going to have the answers. That has been one of the issues with Kevin Stefanski. After that first initial scripted plays runs out, and he has to make the decisions on the fly based on what the defense is doing in time, distance, and scenario, it doesn't look good for Kevin Stefanski. And people know that. So if you look at who has recently taken shots at people within the Cleveland Browns organization, yes, that's correct. He was coaching the Jets. I think he was a Jets offensive coordinator or something like that. He might have been the Jets coach. I can't remember. But if you look at it, we have Bruce Arians come out and say, I don't know why Kevin Stefanski still has a job. Coaches whose voices hold the weight of Bruce Arians don't just come out and say that about other coaches. Bruce Arians says something. We talked about Mike Tomlin saying something about Andrew Berry helping out a division opponent. Good morning, Marie. Now we got Mike Vrabel here. So when coaches start to call these things out, the tide is turning. And the thing that stands out about calling out Andrew Berry, you would think at some point your team will have to do business with Andrew Berry. Y'all will make a trade or something like that with him. Or he could be in another organization and he can impact you getting hired. But they're looking at the Browns and saying, I don't even believe another team or organization will want them, or they'll give them the power to make decisions so we can just call out what we see. This is not normal. This doesn't happen very often because this is the rule. This is a very easy rule when you're thinking about how often things happen or situations happen. If you can remember the isolated events or isolated times that something happens, that means it doesn't happen that often because you can remember the 10% of times that it happened. And you don't remember the 90% of the time that it never happens. So that's an easy way to look at it. So coaches and organizations taking shots at the Browns because they know they can, because right now the Browns is the Browns. It was never a truer time to say that statement. It was Nathaniel Hackett. He was the OC. Got you. Okay. Yeah, I thought he was there when they got Russ in Denver. They got rid of him. They got rid of Russ. And then he was the OC because he was cool with Aaron Rodgers. That's what it was. So when they start taking these shots at your organization, just know it's all bad. It's all bad. All right, so some people were here, but I said the Browns offense, the first four games with Joe Flacco are going to look like the first 4 games with Dillon Gabriel. It's going to look the same. So now we got some stats so we can compare. Both of them have a 1-3 record. Joe Flacco, when he was the quarterback, the Browns were 14 points a game, 200, let's just call it 280 yards. He had a 58 98.1 completion percentage, 815 passing yards, 4.5 yards per dropback, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 26.5 QBR. The Browns under 4 starts with Dillon Gabriel. 1-3 record, 17 points per game. That's helped out by the defense. 247 yards per game. Dillon Gabriel has a 59.4 completion rate, 702 passing yards, 4.2 yards per dropback, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 25.9 total QBR. So when the offense is that bad, you cannot defend anybody who is part of this. The play call, the scheme, you can't defend any of it. You can't. You have to look for changes before the team implodes. Is starting to implode right before our eyes. You got to find changes. See if we need anything from here. We don't need nothing else from there. One thing I want to show y'all, this is what the Cleveland Browns media are going to do. I'm just going to prepare y'all. I'm always giving you the answers early. Now, the Cleveland Browns media is going to start looking ahead to the draft. They're going to write off the rest of this year. They're going to act like some of them are going to say they want to see Shador. Some of them are going to say it's so bad it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're just going to jump forward to next year, act like the rest of the season doesn't matter. The problem is, y'all know, normally on Tuesdays, I'm breaking down quarterbacks. And I'm explaining to y'all who's good, what, and everything about quarterbacks. I didn't stop breaking down quarterbacks. But really, there's 2 quarterbacks that you want to be in the running for coming into the draft. And we have more teams that need quarterbacks than we have quarterbacks that are good. So this is the draft order so far. New Orleans Saints, they're going to need a quarterback. Jets going to need a quarterback. The Browns going to need – people are saying they're going to need a quarterback. I think they have one in Shador, but people are saying they're going to need a quarterback. That would be 3 teams. Then you have the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to need a quarterback. You also have the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to need a quarterback. Depending on how Arizona goes, they might need a quarterback. So out of the top 10, we are looking at 4 teams that have quarterbacks, 6 teams that could potentially need quarterbacks. What's going on, Asante? It's only 2, y'all. I'm going to show you all the 2. These are the only 2. These are the only 2 quarterbacks. If you either get Ty Simpson from Alabama or you get Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. These are their stats. These are really the only 2 worth watching. Dante Moore got knocked out of the game this week. He wasn't able to finish. Carson Beck, I'm out on Carson Beck. Carson Beck doesn't know what to do with cover 3. And he really got fooled in that last game. I was already iffy on him. I'm like, I'm not going to waste time. Lenoris Sellis is a wild card that everybody is hyping up, but I think he needs to go back to school. The quarterbacks who are seniors, to me, they're not going to change the franchise around. So if you are looking at Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller, those guys aren't changing your team around. So these are the only 2. Between the 2, this is who I would take. Between those 2 guys, I would take Fernando Mendoza. Both of them, I like their traits. I like what they're able to do. Fernando Mendoza has a little bit better arm to me. Let me put something else between us in here. Fernando Mendoza has a little bit better arm to me. He can really hit every point on the field. He's a little bit more accurate on his deep passes. And he has more starts. He's seen more football. He's played more high-level football. That's what I want out of my quarterback. Those are the only 2. And if it's not Fernando Mendoza, if we get Ty Simpson, I'll be like, okay. But the Browns have a conundrum. If they're concerned about draft order, keep playing Dillon. That's a fact. This is the conundrum. The Browns have only won 2 games. If you are head coach of this football team, you need to win games to keep your job. If you start to win games and these teams continue to lose, what does that do to your draft order? I think not playing 12 will keep them in a top 5 draft slot. The only problem is, are they going to lose more games than the Jets or the Saints? The Saints went to Tyler Shuck yesterday. They out on Spencer Rattler. They went to Tyler Shuck. It's his time. Justin Fields, Ohio State QB, I like him as a person. He hasn't really shown it. So if just look at this order. If it stays this order, the top 2 QBs are going to the New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. If that happens, the Browns are going to be reaching on a quarterback who is not going to be able to elevate the team, and they need a whole new offense. It's going to be bad next year too. So they're in a conundrum. A coach want to keep his job. The GM want to stay around. They got to win some games. Conundrum. Is it true that under Stefanski, he has had 20 different QBs? If that's true, that's crazy. Make it make sense. G. Bush said it yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised. 20 sounds like the right number. Let's go back. He started in 2020. 2020, he had Baker Mayfield. And Case Keenum was the highest paid backup. 2021, Case Keenum played, Baker Mayfield played. 2022, I think, was Baker's last year. Let's see. I think 2022, Baker was out. So if Baker was out in 2022, we played 5 in 2023. That puts us up to 7. I just got to see who we played in 2022. 2024, we played Deshaun Watson, we played DTR, we played Jameis Winston, and we played Bailey Zappi. So that's 4. Actually, 2023, we played 6. So that's we're right about 12. Yeah, that's about 12. This year so far, we're on the second one. That's 14. Yeah, it's right about 20. It's right about 20. Yeah, it's right about 20. Just going off the top of my head, if I can get mostly there, the Browns on average under Kevin Stefanski play 4 quarterbacks a year. So it's year 6. Just on the averages, you'll get there. But I can name most of them. Tank the season, sell first-round picks for multiple second-round picks, then draft O-line receiver. They need so much O-line and receiver help. It's not funny. Stefanski is in a catch-22. There you go. That's it, Zedric. With no hesitation. Jets not a bad team, just bad QB play. Browns will need to score or they will lose and keep their top 5 draft slot. Bad QB play can really set you back, though. It can really set you back. Also, to me, the Jets defense does not look like the Jets defense from 2 years ago. They don't even look as good as they were last year. So that's not having a quarterback is a way bigger issue because other teams, you're facing teams that got quarterbacks. So it's a way worse situation, way worse issue. So New Orleans, nobody believes in New Orleans. They talking about fire sale. Not Camardi. Kamara's talking about if they trade him, he gonna retire. So there's some stuff going on in New Orleans. The Jets don't look that good to me. So I think it's hard to say they're not a bad team at 1-7 though. Like just like the Browns at 2-6, I wouldn't say they're not a bad team. More important is in play. You got to give me a little bit more. You got to give me a little bit more, Tim. Oh, line in play. Got you. Okay. Let's go here. Yeah, the Browns need offensive line and wide receivers like it's not funny. They need them like yesterday. Now let's go down this road. We're going to start with Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Thomas says, hey, you know if a quarterback is good right away. Other people say they need a lot of time. Joe Thomas, when you look at the list of the 41 quarterbacks who started a game, 42 I think, I forgot now, who started a game for the Cleveland Browns since 99, Joe Thomas played with half of them. He played with half of those quarterbacks. So he has a thing or two. He has a view on this going to be good or this going to be bad. Let's see what he says about quarterbacks.
Love listening to you and Chris. Great insight. Really good listen. I have a question for you. We had you on after the draft, and you made a comment about the quarterbacks and how they are analyzed. You said, and this really stuck with us, we've repeated it a million times, we're going to find out, and you usually find out really quickly.
All right. He is just going to echo the sentiment that Jay just said. Now, I got to ask y'all the first question of the day. The first question of the day is, are you willing to say Dillon Gabriel at this point after 4 games is not the answer? The first question. Drop it in the chat. Let me know. DG is the answer. DG is not the answer. Let me know in the chat, because you see, they set it up. You know right away. You don't got to look for a long time. While y'all get into that, we gonna move along to the next one, because that's all we need from that, because that's UCSS.
Goes on, Andrew. How much goes?
Let me pause this. What UCSS does is they will say something, call it law, and then not follow the own law that they say is law. So he said, oh, we use this all the time. Now it's time to grade a quarterback who they thought would be better. They don't want to grade the quarterback. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I saw his press conference yesterday. Yes, I saw his press conference yesterday too. He talked about how hard it is on him emotionally, how he was crying, and it was really getting to him, the outside noise. I think the issue with Justin Fields for the Jets is everything they do has to play to his strengths. Everything they do. If you're going to get an athletic quarterback who can move the pocket, who can roll around, who is very athletic, you have to use all of that. Use all of it. You can't just say we want our quarterback to just drop back and throw the ball. So that's what they got to do with Justin Fields. All right, we starting to see it. In fact, only one team has ever been undefeated. They did it with 40-plus-year-old QB for most of the season because the O-line was a beast surrounding Cass Ball. That's a fact. Okay, I got you, Marie. CB Brown, not the answer. I agree. Dillon had good O-line play yesterday. The head coach ran 10 into the ground, which is mismanagement. Dillon isn't the answer. I agree with you, Q-Dog. Also, Quinshon Judkins had a shoulder injury. We don't know the severity of it. So that's another thing. When you just using these guys as sacrificial lambs and they're putting their bodies on the line for you, you can't just go out here and just throw them out there. DG is clearly not the answer. Keith, I agree. Absolutely not. DG, not it. I agree, Marie. They all throughout the narrative that he needed more time after the game. Of course they would, because they don't believe the things that they say. It's about having a philosophy on how you speak on things, how you view things. When you don't have a core, a base philosophy on how you speak on stuff, you say one day you say this, the next day you say this. The problem is they're both recorded on the internet and they're in complete contrast of each other. There should be something in the first game that gave you something to hang your hat on. There you go. Zedric, you're on to something. The very first game that Baker Mayfield got in the game for the Cleveland Browns, came in due to injury. He threw about 3 passes. Everybody talks about it. I believe we were facing the Jets. Everybody talks about it and say, you know what? We got a quarterback. When you look at Joe Flacco, when he was in the Browns system, you never looked at him and said, that's our quarterback. When you look at Dillon Gabriel, nobody can find me the throws where they're saying, man, we got the guy. If that's the answer and he's not the guy, you got to go to the next guy. That's what you got to do. You got to do it. Now, this guy right here, sometimes he's on 92.3 The Fan. Ms. Brown, DG is not the answer. I agree. If he's on, I think he'll be on the left side. Yeah, the left side of y'all screen. This is Lance Reisland. He used to be a coach. He has been defending Kevin Stefanski. He's been defending the offense. He's been blaming the offensive line. He's been blaming the wide receivers. He's been blaming everybody. Let's see who he decided to blame after yesterday's game.
Goes on Dillon Gabriel. How much goes on? I phrased it, Jerry Jeudy, just catch the freaking ball, right? That's been an issue all year. As you're watching this game and as that offense is struggling, where do you think the blame lies? Is it across the board? Is it on one person? Where do you think the blame lies right now with where this offense is at?
Well, the coordinator and the quarterback are always going to get more credit and more criticism than they deserve. I believe wholeheartedly that everybody has their hand in this, and Kevin as well. The play calling at times, especially getting away from the run. Then you have Dillon, who is has been under pressure, works the ball underneath, has missed some throws, some big chunk throws he's missed. Then you have drops, then you have pass protection, then you have defensive breakdowns that there's so many things that go along with this complimentary football stuff. The easiest response will be, change the quarterback. I really don't, I've always been a believer that, if you change the quarterback because you need a pick me up or you need something to go on, you need a change. Only the coordinator and the quarterback are the positions that can do that. But I will say, in my experience in football,
he just said it. Now he's going to walk it back. He said, if you need a spark, do the Browns need a spark? If you need a change, the play caller, the quarterback is the only thing you can change. Do the Browns need change on offense? Now he's going to walk it back. They all in their feelings. All right. What's good, Kyler? It'll be the same situation no matter who is taking snaps. There, I'm going to have to disagree with you. That's why that first preseason game mattered. No one has made any throws like that since. You're on to something, Zedric. So many men are so soy today. That's a fact. In practice, they knew DG was not the answer. That is a fact. National media blaming Miles because he took the money. I'm going to get to that later in the show. A lot of times, the national media does not understand the inner workings of a team. Myles Garrett could not have been traded, and I'm going to really get to the answers why. And the national media is just saying you took the money, you didn't leave, without knowing the circumstances. If you knew the circumstances, you would never say he took the money. So we're going to get to that because they're wrong 100% on that point. Now, Kyler, it'll be the same situation no matter who is taking snaps. Okay, so a lot of people, they come to that conclusion. Now, I have to ask you a question. Do you believe that the Browns are just going to lose out the rest of the season because regardless of the quarterback, nobody can play any better at quarterback than what they're getting? I got to ask you that question. Do you believe the Browns are just going to lose the rest of the year because no matter who they put in at quarterback, they are not going to get better performance than what they are getting currently? It's going to be telling based on your answer to that question. Let's keep it moving forward while we're waiting to hear back. From you.
Are we watching the same football?
Without Myles Garrett, the Patriots would have put up 50 points easily on the Browns. That's a fact. They would have easily threw a 50 on them. They got into a rhythm. They were attacking the Browns with the outside runs. The outside runs are killing the Browns. 100% it all falls on Kevin Stefanski. Okay, 100% you believe that regardless of the quarterback that they put in, they will lose out and they can't get better performance. They're going to lose because they just don't want to play Shador. Put Shador in, he will produce and make a difference in the games. I agree with that, unless they change the play caller, Tim. So this is what's happening right before our eyes, and I think sometimes people miss it. I'm watching a ton of game film. The play calls are slowly changing. They're slowly changing before our eyes. This is what I think. I believe after the Pittsburgh Steelers game, Kevin Stefanski got with Tommy Rees, and Tommy Rees is having a little bit more input on the play calling. He's not calling the plays, but the play design or the type of play calls they're calling, because you are ending up with answers to the question that the defense is posing. You're ending up with answers, and Dillon Gabriel, for the most part, is not capable of making a proper read, stepping up in the pocket, making the throw. That is the issue that's happening with the offense. The offense is changing right before your eyes. If you just go back and watch the game, Dillon Gabriel, like I said, he's missing 4 to 5 throws. It was not like that with Joe Flacco. It was not like that. Joe Flacco just did not have guys who are open. If you look at it, there is some things that are available and they are missing them. If you go back to when Joe Flacco was playing, it's one egregious play where they ran that trick play and Isaiah Bond was running open across the field and Joe Flacco didn't throw it. But since Dillon Gabriel's been a quarterback, just in the Miami game and just in yesterday's game, there have been guys who have been schemed open and Dillon Gabriel cannot get to him. So even though Stefanski might be still calling plays, Tommy Rees's influences is there. It's there. He's not calling the whole game, but he giving up some stuff. Dillon Gabriel is not making the plays. That's it. Put Shador in, he will produce and make a difference in the games. Unless they change the play caller, he has to be the opposite of what they've been selling us. Everyone they said was better has not been. Y'all are on to something. The Cleveland Browns organization just don't want to play Shador, so they're making all the excuses. They're making a lot of excuses. Shador is a game changer, not a game manager. He brings the heat. That's a fact. It's the head coach, OC, and QB to blame for what's going on. Q-Dog, there you go. I agree. Yeah, you can see it in the Miami game. You can see it. If you watch the game, it's plays to be had. There is a football way that you can beat what these defenses are doing to you. There's a football way that you can do it. Yesterday's game, let's just break them down real quick, just off the top of my head without having the film in front of me. Yesterday's game, when Isaiah Bond was going up the sideline, he was behind the defense to the left-hand side. Dillon Gabriel rose to his left. He's throwing him the ball. Dillon Gabriel takes the safe throw, throws the ball, and pushes him towards the sideline instead of throwing it deeper so he will run underneath it because he was already past the defense. That's on the quarterback. That was an open play. That was an open play. Isaiah Bond, he bust through the top of the cover 3 that they were running on another play. Dillon Gabriel had time and did not throw the ball, probably because he couldn't get it to him. So there are times, I'm just telling you all this stuff off the top of my head without even going back and watching it, and I'm breaking down the play for you what happened. It's times it's there. Let's go back to Miami. Everybody knows, I agree with that, Zedric. I don't think he can make that throw. If you go back to Miami, when they were running that mesh concept with the wheel route coming behind it, that is not something Kevin Stefanski has ran. That is new. They ran that play twice. It was open both times. He did not make the throw. Dillon Gabriel was looking to his left. He still threw the ball to Jerry Jeudy after Jerry Jeudy ran into the defender. It doesn't. We can't even get to, do you have full trust in the receivers? We can't even get to, do you have full trust in the receivers if he's not even willing to throw the ball to him? If he's not willing to throw the ball to him, it don't matter if they're going to catch it or not. You got to throw it up there. Because then if you say, okay, should he not believe in the receivers? Then why should the receivers believe in him? Why should they run these clear out routes just to set open another guy so they can run dagger concept behind it like the Patriots ran right before the half? They ran a dagger concept on the left-hand side. They had the slot receiver run the clear out route. The outside receiver ran an 18-yard in route. They threw it to him. They go up. They kick the field goal. So if we're going to start picking apart and saying, oh, even though he can't get it to him, should the receivers believe in him? The receivers is out there running and he can't get on the ball. So, but it's football reasons why this could be better. It's football reasons. And he's not getting it done. His answer's there. Harris, film won't be tomorrow. No Tuesday show. Now we go on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to break down the third downs on Wednesday. It's plays there to be made. If y'all want, I showed y'all last week the plays he missed versus Miami, but y'all will see this week. It's plays to be had. He is not getting the ball to the receivers. He's not getting it to him. He's not even willing to make the throws. That's the issue. Winning out puts you at 11-6, very possible. Tim, not sure I want to win now, or the chances we make the playoffs we win out. This is what I think. Losing is a learned trait. Losing is a learned skill. When you're going out there to lose, that is what you are feeding to your locker room. You're not feeding, we're going out here to win every game. If you want to make a better loser, go try to lose out. That's why I do the motivation at the beginning. You got to do the hard thing. You got to keep showing up. I did a small QB breakdown, Harris, on the 2 QBs earlier. Just kind of went over it a little bit. It's only 2 of them. It's only Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza. Between the 2, I would take Fernando Mendoza because I believe his arm talent is a little bit better. He can get the ball anywhere on the field. We kind of talked a little bit about how creative the Alabama offensive coordinator is, so I do like the positions he put him in. But it's only those 2. It's only those 2, and it's going to be 6 teams that need a quarterback, and we're all going to be drafting at the top. So I would go Fernando Mendoza over Ty Simpson if it was up to me. I like that he has more starts. I like that he's seen more football. I like that he doesn't get rattled. I also like that when they play a team, when Indiana plays a team that they should beat, they steamroll them and they keep it moving. These other guys, sometimes they are playing teams way closer than they should. Yeah, I went over it. I put a graphic up for it. So when you watch it back, this is what the graphic gonna look like. It's gonna look like this right here. They finish 6-11. I'll take it. I think this is the thing. You got Quinshon Judkins, who's used to winning. You got young guys, Mason Graham. He was at Michigan. They were winning a lot. Carson Schlesinger, not really used to winning, but he putting it all out there. He wants to win. When you got Harold Fannin, when you got these young guys, you got to go out there and make sure you're always focusing on winning. Did you see Indiana defense held UCLA to under 200 yards? Yep. Yeah, it was nothing they can do. That's what you got to do. When you're supposed to win, you're supposed to dominate. It's not supposed to be close. And that's what Indiana does. I really like their coach. I think Kyler told me about Indiana's coach, and he was saying that he liked him, but he just signed that big deal, so he's not gonna end up in the NFL. What I see is the receivers are frustrated with the QB. He's not giving them the ball, short throws, overthrown, out of bounds throws, crazy throws, you name it. It's just not any accurate ones. That's a fact. When I said, I don't know what day it was, but I said everything they told us Dillon Gabriel was, he's not accurate, throwing the ball more than 5 yards. He is not extending plays with his legs. He did have a run yesterday that was okay, but he's not doing a lot of that. He's not processing, seeing the field well. He's not doing that. Kevin Stefanski also had the nerve to say on film, we didn't see an issue with his height. We see the issue with his height on film. Kevin Stefanski also said he didn't have an issue rolling left or right. We see when he's rolling right, he cannot throw an accurate pass. He doesn't even really like to throw the ball when he's rolling out. So, yeah, Kurt Cignetti, he's turned that program around and set a high standard. He has. He took a basketball school and he's turning them to a power in the Big Ten. He's solid team. Solid team he's putting together. So, when it comes to Dillon Gabriel, it's football reasons. Remember, I'm always going to question things. I'm always starting my base. My base always starts with football. Is it a football answer to this question? And a lot of times it's an answer. What teams do is they put you in a position where you're uncomfortable with the answer that they give you. And that's how they get you to not make the decision. That is what they're doing to Dillon Gabriel. Let's see what the fans say about this.
Like, Dillon Gabriel is not a starting quarterback.
He stinks. Jeremy, he's not a starting quarterback. He might not even be a backup quarterback.
Who said he's a starting quarterback? Not us.
Here's my question. Here's my question, guys.
How come nobody want to claim DG? The same people that told us Dillon Gabriel was far ahead of Shedeur are the same people that we're supposed to trust when they say anything about Shedeur. Somebody make it make sense. A certain coach just came available in Baton Rouge. I'll pass. I'll pass. But he had the most yards in college football history because he played college for 6 years. There you go. There you go. Do y'all see how the college game is running? They paying these coaches $50 million to get out of their life. $50 million. And you have people arguing 2 weeks ago, Kevin Stefanski would get another job. Tell that to LSU. Tell that to Florida. Tell that to UCLA. Tell that to all the people who paid these coaches to leave. DG ain't it. And I'm going to keep saying this to y'all. Everybody who called it out earlier said they didn't believe in Dillon Gabriel. They are owed an apology from all the people who didn't understand football, why people said they didn't like Dillon Gabriel. Where are all the people who are always blowing up everybody's comment section saying, give Dillon Gabriel time. Dillon Gabriel's better. Listen to Kevin Stefanski. How we listening to the person and now y'all want him fired? Come on, man. They playing the game.
He spent a third-round pick on somebody not bigger than Manziel. And these brass, the Ivy League people in charge of this football team, thought it was a good idea to get him in the third round. What are we doing?
Jeremy, it is a fireable offense. Like, let's call it for what it is. You're going to draft.
You sound like Rez now.
No, but hold on.
That's a fireable offense.
Okay, guys, I do not want to see Dillon Gabriel on the field the rest of the year.
I can't.
Whether it's Stefanski trying to protect him, whether it's Gabriel scared to pull the trigger to throw the ball down the field, which, by the way, he threw
the most nonchalant intentional grounding safety I've ever seen in my life.
By the way,
to the point where was there a receiver there? Because clearly he wouldn't have done it so coolly and calmly.
Listen,
he's so cool and calm that he just threw it to the sidelines.
I had so many people, so many Browns fans, not even diehard Shador fans, that are just like, I don't ever want to see Dillon Gabriel on the field. And guess what? I'm one of them. Guys,
So now everybody is starting to sound like the people they bash. I'm going to get it right this time. The rejected will be respected. I'm going to get it right this time. They all sound like, you see how he said, oh, yeah, and I'm not even a Shador Sanders fan. You know how they use that? Because that means I was talking bad about Shador previously. But now everybody is singing the same tune. Y'all had to wait and see. The visionaries who just looked at it through football lens knew he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Brian is so one-dimensional in his offense, so pass-heavy. And you're right, he has a ton of talent. It's crazy. Yep, sheep. You see it, Marie. Reporter said it initially, but flipped before that first preseason game. There you go. When are we going to get into NBA rookies? Hey, VJ is balling. VJ is balling. It's the heart of the football season, so it's kind of hard to bring in the NBA subjects. Probably what I'll do is at the show's open, I might spend a couple minutes on NBA. That's probably how I'll bring it in. But he is balling so far to start the year. Winning teams rely on the facts, not narratives. There you go. There you go. So before the season started, everybody said it's a reason why teams don't take short quarterbacks. Everybody said this. When people go down the list and they name 5 to 7 quarterbacks who are under 6 foot, what they are proving is less than 10% of all quarterbacks who ever played in the NFL were under 6 foot, meaning less likelihood of success. That's what everybody said. Everybody saw this coming. Now they're finally seeing it. Now they're in their feelings. You know, y'all see, I'm not in my feelings. These people are in their feelings because they had hope. They had faith. It was going to be different. I had no faith. I had no hope. I told y'all, the Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel. I went home and I was like, this might be the straw that broke the camel's back. I might not root for the Browns anymore. When they drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. That was me. I'm living. I'm aware. I always said Dillon Gabriel is just going to show you who he is. He is who we thought he was. That's all. Dillon looks like a vet. My pick for rookie of the year. Oh, Dylan Harper. Okay, got you. I had to look. I was like, oh, he threw me off. Certainly less optimal. I agree with that, Tim. Yeah, it just, it's reasons why you look at history. If you look at history, it's not an exact predictor of the future, but it gives you an idea of the upside and the downside. You look at the floor, you look at the ceiling. That's what you look at history for. The Browns always take these outside the box approaches, and then when it doesn't work, now everybody's crashing out. Thank you. You can't teach height. There you go. Do y'all want to know the thing I got so sick of hearing, especially Jason Lloyd was saying this. Jason Lloyd, when he was trying to defend the Browns for drafting Dillon Gabriel, he said, well, if he was 6'1", he would be a first-round pick. He's not 6'1". He's not 6'1". You have to go based on what he is. If was a fifth, we all be drunk. Everybody know that saying. He's not 6'1". It was so agitating when he used to say that. I'm like, what is this? It makes no sense. Let's get to the next video. Let's go here.
All the way back to the decision to draft.
So I'm going to set this up for y'all. The guy on the left of your screen, he does breakdowns on the Browns. He had Dan Lanning on his podcast before the season started speaking on Dillon Gabriel. He was one of the most optimistic people regarding Dillon Gabriel before the season started. Now, me, I had bias. I tell y'all my biases so you don't have to guess. I always thought Shedeur was better. I wanted the Browns to draft Shedeur with the number 2 overall pick. So they got him where they got him. I was happy with it. I never had any belief in Dillon Gabriel. The guy on the left, he had belief in Dillon Gabriel. Let's see how he sounds now. Let's see. Dillon should look at getting with Breeze over the summer if he wants to be successful. You know what Drew Brees said? Drew Brees said you have to throw the ball blindly when you're not tall enough. You have to know exactly where guys are going to be, and you just got to let it go. Tua is hesitant to let the ball go if he can't see it. Dillon Gabriel is hesitant to let the ball go if he can't see it. I don't know if that's something that you can coach out of these guys. Drew Brees was willing to take the risk because he knew exactly where people were going to be. They're not willing, and I don't think you're going to be able to coach that out of them. Let's go.
Draft Dillon Gabriel with a 3rd round pick. To me at this point, after watching, they've given him what, 4 games now?
This would be game 4. Yep.
Game 4. He's 5'8". He has no elite traits. It took every ounce of his strength in his body to throw the ball 4 yards down the field, which is underthrown on a deep ball in the NFL. They're all underthrown. And it takes every ounce of his strength to get him down there when he does throw him down there. And the only time he threw it down there, the guy was in bracketed coverage. I've seen enough of Gabriel to think that, I just don't know what – I didn't like the pick when they took him. I don't think he's a 3rd-round caliber draft pick. I think he's more like a 6th or 7th-round caliber draft pick. This is what they wanted to put this is what they wanted to put their asset into and base the offense around for this season. That's a bad decision. It's egregious. It's malpractice. He's not good. He can't be a starting NFL quarterback. He has no starting NFL quarterback traits. You watched a guy across the field from you today that has all of it, right? And he has none of it, Jake. And the offense is, I'm sure it's not been good from Stefanski, but Dillon is terrible. He's terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah, I don't have anything to stay positive about around that. I mean,
Shedeur throws with anticipation. That's a fact. Sometimes that's what you have to do. It's a calculated risk. Thanks for speeding that up because he does talk slow. You see, normally I let y'all know hey, I'm speeding this up. That one, I'm like, we're not going to get through this if I don't speed this up. I was struggling. I almost put it at 1.5 because I'm like, man, oh man, I can't live this way. Even if DG was 6'1", what about his decision-making on the field? He's rolled out with an open receiver on a wheel route and still won't release the ball. Keith, that's it. That is the play that I was talking about last week where Quinshon Judkins was wide open. He didn't want to throw it. They were calling that guy a Shedeur homer after he said that. Of course, because they don't want to look at the football-related reasons. If y'all notice, I don't mind if people don't agree with me. I'll just question, okay, tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. But I will always go to football first. Football first, because that's what we talk about. We talk about football. Jason is a mess. He always talk crazy. He's had a mad face like that. He is right. Yeah. Jason Lloyd is. Oh, he was frustrating me so much. He kept saying that 6-1 stuff. I was like, man, he not though. Like he not. Brett, I would quit watching football forever if I had to listen to these men talk our football. Hey, I'm just showing y'all what's out there. So do you think Shedeur should be traded to a different organization and stay with the Browns? I think his best bet is to stay with the Browns because he has a direct path to be the man, and he has the right person in his pocket who believes in him. He has the right person. All of these other organizations that need a quarterback, they could fire everybody after the year. And the Browns could fire everybody after the year. But if you're a smart guy coming into this team, you're going to say, hey, let's see what Shedeur is because we have too many needs to fill. I'm not going to torture you that much longer, Brent. Just listen to what he says real quick.
There's a video I put out last week that has people on both sides of the fence in terms of the debate of whether he was good or not and how harsh we're being about it or not being harsh enough. I thought the process was awful last week. I understand they scored 31 points, but that was a bad offense last week. And the scoreboard masked it because you get a pick six, you get a short, like a 2-yard field and a whole bunch of stuff there. And I don't know how to articulate it any other way. They are in the year 2025 in an offense that cannot find a way to get receivers the football, that cannot find a way to run the football from under center, cannot find a way to run the football from the gun. Outside of the opening script, which had a fortuitous blown coverage on a simple drag route on 3rd and 1,000,000, they did find one competent play I liked, which is the fullback insert on that touchdown throw where Fannon's uncovered. It's a nice concept where you're, running the fullback through the middle and then putting him up on a corner route on the right side. But I mean, guys, I don't know anymore. I mean, like, you can't live in a world where, and it's not like Flacco was lighting the world on fire with these receivers either, but he was certainly more interested, let's put it that way, in throwing the wide receivers the football. We're not getting any of that at this point.
Nothing.
And I understand that this is not the most talented group in the league. The bigger thing is, like, I think a lot of people want to try to separate certain things in all of this. Like, is Kevin fired as Andrew? I don't know how you can look at this offense and give Kevin or Andrew any more blame.
There you go. He is choosing his words very carefully. He's trying not to just come out and say it. Basically, it's all bad. There are some bright spots. The quarterback is not willing to take him. Do you think Shedeur was a first-round pick? I do. Of course I do. The sole reason, I'm a person, I know that I'm willing to outwork somebody else. And to prove my point, I will go to a totally different length than I know other people will. So for me, I said, okay, they said Shedeur was not a first-round talent. They said he was a second-round talent or whatever. Then they said this quarterback class was better. I started a whole series on YouTube of watching all these quarterbacks just based on the fact that they said they were all better than Shedeur. I watched all of them, all because of that statement. It's not close. It's not close. It's two guys who would probably be in a discussion with Shedeur. I told y'all who they were. And these are two guys that CBS is the only one that mentioned Fernando Mendoza before the year. Nobody mentioned Ty Simpson before the year. So every person that they thought was better than Shedeur, all of them flamed out. Remember, it's a totally different group. When I did my first top QBs or QBs up next, when I did my first video that I put out, none of the QBs that I'm talking about now were on there except for Fernando Mendoza. It was Fernando Mendoza. It was Drew Aller. It was Cade Klubnik. It was Lenore Sellers. It was, not Cade Klubnik. Fernando Mendoza. It was Arch Manning. It was Carson Beck. And it was Sam Levitt. Those were the guys that they said. 7 of those guys, I don't really break down their tape anymore because they are not better than Shedeur. And most of them need to go back to school. So I think he's better. Shedeur having Barry in his back pocket is working out, just taking time. If the noise is this loud with fans, it's probably worse in-house. That's a fact. I didn't want to keep like beating the dead horse. So I even have clips of me. I have clips of me breaking it down right after the draft. And I'm telling people, this is the person that picked Shedeur. And everybody was arguing with me saying, no, that's not who picked Shedeur. It was this person. Actually, you know what? We got time. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. Let's get to it. So right around draft time, I was still doing more streams on TikTok. I was streaming on X. I wasn't going all in on YouTube like I am now. So some of my clips, I got to find them there. But let me find this clip for y'all real quick. Man, I made a bunch of videos. I know it's going to be Andrew Berry speaking outside. All right, let me switch this over so y'all can see it. Go back and watch Shedeur Sanders against the so-called generational talent in Caleb Williams. I watched that game live. I watched it live. He had a little bit, Caleb had a little bit more offensive talent. And that was the first year that they were in Colorado, and their offensive line and defensive line just was not it. With the right QB, the wide receiver play would be so much better. A good QB elevates the receiver. Shedeur is that guy. He throws with touch. He knows what type of ball to throw to his receivers. That is a fact. If y'all noticed during the live stream yesterday, I kept saying I wasn't that high on Drake May, but watching this game, I did not know he had that much touch to his passes. I knew he was athletic, but the touch he was putting on those passes yesterday, it was insane. I was like, man, we don't see this with the Browns. We don't see this. So to me, Shedeur has that level of touch as Drake May, as we saw yesterday. Here it is. This is me from, when did I do this? I'll let y'all know afterwards.
Not smart. Just not smart. And it's something that we've addressed with him.
And he's like, you're going to come in here, you're going to work hard, nothing's going to be given to you. And everybody was like, oh, they don't like how he was saying that. I think Andrew Berry was tipping his hand when he made that statement, that he was the one who made the pick for Shedeur, because he was putting the pressure on Shedeur like, we can't mess this up. You say that to somebody who you are responsible for. You don't say that to somebody who you're not responsible for. You draft this person. You don't want anybody to say you're giving him any special treatment. It's just like when a coach is coaching his son. A good coach, when they coach their son, they coach their son harder than anybody else on the team, because they don't want anybody on the team to be able to say, you give your son special treatment. That's what I see Andrew Berry doing with Shedeur.
Not smart. Just not smart.
This video is from, I just saw the date. Where'd it go? July 28th. I've been saying this since the summer. I've been saying it since the summer that that's who drafted Shedeur. That's who wanted Shedeur here. My reasoning was when they took Dillon Gabriel, they had to sleep overnight and look at the backlash they were receiving. People were talking about them online. Going into that next day, everybody said, oh, if you look at Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they didn't want Shedeur. One of them wanted Shedeur. One of them didn't want Shedeur. They both had to play nice when the camera was there. That's what they had to do. So I've been saying this from the beginning. I stood on this from the draft. So if you look at it, that's what I think. And when you have the person that's making the personnel decisions who wanted you on the team, yeah, he can't just come out and say, no, you got to play Shedeur at all other costs. But what he can do is get rid of other quarterbacks in the way that you want to play instead of Shedeur. He can force your hand to put Dillon Gabriel out there to show what Dillon Gabriel is so we get to Shedeur faster. Those are the things that he could do. Remember, they never brought Bailey Zappi up into the active roster until yesterday. How many weeks ago it's been since they traded Joe Flacco? They just said we're going to roll with 2 quarterbacks. You don't have a choice. Something happened to Dillon, Shedeur going in. That's who you want on your side. That's who you want in your quarter. So just a little throwback to why I think Shedeur doesn't need to go anywhere. And also, you're seeing a fracture. You're seeing a divide between Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. They're picking sides. They are not aligned at the hip. They are separate. He could have then, but he probably could now, more leverage. You talking about Andrew Berry or Shedeur? Andrew Berry has more leverage now? If Andrew Berry, I agree with that. Once the way his draft casts look, if you're speaking on Andrew Berry.
I guess that's just kind of.
All right, so this is another one in Cleveland. This is another one. If y'all remember, I showed them about 4 weeks ago. The guy to the top left was saying, you don't get rid of everybody. I did a whole show based off those comments showing you how everybody has been turned over except Kevin Stefanski and the wide receivers coach. Everybody else has been turned over with his team, all the coordinators, all that. Let's see what he's saying now, because he was the one saying, we're not that far away. You keep Kevin Stefanski. We're not that far away. How does he sound after yesterday's game? Okay, yes, I agree with you there, Zedric. Yeah, Berry definitely has that leverage because he's saying, hey, look at my draft class. Look what I'm putting out on the field. All of them are looking good. Every time you look at a redraft, they're picking 4 players that he selected in later rounds and saying they will be first-round draft picks. So Berry definitely has leverage. I agree with you.
I guess we can just jump right in, talk about the offense and the quarterback. Dillon Gabriel, he's got to be done. And I know Kevin came out after the game and said they're going to stick with him. That's kind of what I expect him to say after the game. We have a bye week. There's a long time between now and the next game. Part of me wants to say, I don't think they'll make the switch, but every part of me, every fiber of my being is hoping that they do. Because even if I don't think Shedeur is going to come in and light it up, I at least think just the fact that he will at least throw the ball downfield a little bit will loosen up a defense enough that maybe it opens up some of the other stuff. You got to at least take the chance. And I don't know what they saw in Dillon Gabriel. And
so now, I'm telling y'all, I'm taking joy in this, and I'm going to tell y'all why. These were the same people who, at every step of the way, they said, trust these people when they were saying stuff about Shedeur because they don't believe in Shedeur or they don't like Shedeur. One or the other, whichever one it is. These same people are now questioning the decision makers that they were standing with before. These are all things that you could have saw coming. Nobody should be blindsided by this. Nobody should be. They're blindsided by this because they have blind faith in people who do not have a track record of success. Now they can't even they can't even pronounce what they want to say. They can't say it. They can't get it out. Now they just they say it begrudgingly too. They take a deep breath and, well, I guess it's time we just got to go to Shedeur. You think? And then you see, he put a little dig in there when he was saying we got to go to Shedeur. Even if I don't think he's going to be better, at least Shedeur will attempt to throw the ball downfield. You think? You couldn't get to this before now? It took you 8 weeks of this to get to here? What people forget is, this is the funniest thing about what people say about Shedeur. They say, Shedeur was first they said Shedeur was throwing the ball short. Now they're saying Shedeur was holding on to the ball too long to try to make plays and throw the ball deep. Now the problem with the Browns offense is they're not throwing the ball deep. So now you need the person to throw the ball deep. And everybody says, do you think Shedeur will make it different? Of course he would. What's going on, Shanithia? Exactly. The irony is they still trust what Stefanski says about Shedeur, but not Dillon. Marie, the switch up is real. These are all facts. These are all facts. if y'all notice, I started putting the questions out there about Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry before the season. This was intentional. This, like, I know sometimes people think that, you know, I wake up, I turn on the camera, I turn on the mic, and I just start talking. No. I'm just laying the groundwork to lead you to where I see things going. And if y'all notice, when I talk about a subject, I rarely go back to that subject and bring it up again. When I was talking about the offense wasn't good and the issues with the offense and how to fix the offense, I only go back to that when somebody disagreed in the comments. I don't keep going back to that. When I say, hey, even after the win, they still need to fire everybody, I don't go back to now they need to fire everybody. What I do is I just shine the light on the people who are now believing what I already said. I'm giving y'all the sauce on how I break this thing down. That's how I do it. I don't believe anything that comes from Kevin Stefanski. Marie, you were here. You saw me say they have to give Shedeur Sanders fans props. And I said, because Shedeur Sanders fans are looking at programs who want to win. They took one look at the Browns. They saw all of this from the beginning, from the very beginning. It was in rookie camp. They called out all of the things that these people who've been coming to Browns for years couldn't see. They called it out in the first press conference. It took them 8 weeks. They called people who support Shedeur names. They remember before the season, they're not Browns fans. They're just here for Shedeur. They're the smart ones, y'all. They saw it was bad. They saw it was bad early. The problem is, now that they're repeating the things that y'all said 6 months ago, they're not giving y'all no props for it. And that's the worst part about it. That's the worst part. They called you crazy for saying it. Now they're repeating it, and they're not giving you no props when you saw it a long time ago. It's hard. It's hard for them to even speak on these situations. Let's get to the next video.
Position later.
That's unreal. And then I saw the stat. So
these two, remember they tried to do the gotcha with Josina Anderson? They singing a different tune now. Remember last week they were talking about playoffs? They were talking about winning the division. Remember they were saying that last week? I showed y'all that last week. Look at them this week. I don't believe this fake anger they're showing.
So Zach wakes up very early, and he has the participation chart that's posted out there. I want to make a promise to everybody here, especially you. When Jerry Jeudy does have his eventual meltdown, I'm going to remember yesterday when he was basically out there just for cardio purposes and be more understanding of that meltdown. Because Jerry Jeudy is going to have it one of these days, and it's probably going to be pretty strong, and we're probably going to have some strong commentary about that, some of us. And I'm going to remember he played 83% of total plays yesterday, or total offensive snaps yesterday. He was targeted 4 times because you have this wide receiver
Twice.
that's supposed
2
to.
targets.
He was targeted twice?
Yeah.
2.
Yep, it's all good. You know the saying, I can show you better than I can tell you. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now they flipping out. Oh, 2 targets for Jerry Jeudy. Y'all know why I'm not flipping out? Yes, we remember. They don't know ball. They don't know ball. That's a fact. They rarely speak on football reasons why things aren't working. He's flipping out like, oh, Jerry Jeudy only had 2 targets. He was on the field for 80+% of the snaps. You know why I'm not flipping out about this? Kevin Stefanski, going back to his Minnesota days, has not been able to scheme open receivers consistently in whatever offense he's running. Whatever offense he's running. Go back, look it up. Stephon Diggs won it out. He was in Minnesota. Kevin Stefanski. Jerry Jeudy. I'm sorry. Jerry Jeudy is now. I'm thinking Jarvis Landry. Odell Beckham. Remember Odell Beckham's dad liked the video of all the times Odell Beckham was open? Do you know what the core issue was in that situation? Odell Beckham was finding holes in the defense when they were running zone, and he was beating guys quickly when they were running man, and it wasn't what Kevin Stefanski was calling up. So Kevin Stefanski took exception to that. Kevin Stefanski still cannot get receivers open. What they wanted to do was they wanted to say it's a receiver talent issue. That's what they've been saying the last couple of weeks. It's talent, it's talent, it's talent. Okay. Now when you only target your best receiver 2 times in a whole game, which you had to throw the ball, They're not talking about talent no more. They're talking about scheme. And then when you talk about scheme, you got to look at the quarterback, the play caller, the play designer. Remember Mary Kay said Dillon Gabriel was helping create this offense? Do y'all remember that from the summer? And I said, this is ridiculous. She don't know what she's talking about. The game plan was he can't drop the ball if we don't throw it. Hey, you on to something. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they're trying to get 70% completion percentage. They're trying to match somebody else who people said wasn't accurate or is not good at playing quarterback. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. So they say, hey, if we throw it less, your numbers will look better. I don't know. Just a thought. Just throwing it out there. Let's see what else they got to yap about before we get to the national media covering this.
2 times because you have a wide receiver that's supposed to stretch the offense, but you can't move the pocket around. That's a Kevin problem. Maybe that's an offensive line problem. Okay, that's an Andrew problem too. Well, guess what? You can go ahead and pick your poison, whichever one you want to yell at there.
Judy now on pace for 546 yards this year.
Yeah.
If he plays in every game.
Ain't putting it on him right now.
If it goes like yesterday, he'll finish the year with 546 yards.
I mean, that was just so atrocious. I think they had 2 balls were completed to wide receivers yesterday, so we're running the Penn State offense over the last few years.
Oh, God.
Just tight ends. That's all we got.
Forget Todd Monken. Get Jeff Monken in here. Let's run some double wing. Let's get, you know what? Let's do some wing tee. Let's get it in here. Might as well.
Do y'all remember them crushing Jerry Jeudy a couple weeks ago when he said, look at the tape? Now you defended him. You got to look at who the real problems are. My answer was for Jerry Jeudy to fix his dropping the ball. You got to keep targeting him and get him open, easy passes. What do? They do the opposite. She said he was processing so fast he was not helping with installs. That's a fact. And I was like, that's crazy. There's no way he's doing this. She might have been on to something if this has been the outcome. You know what? They might be playing 4D chess for real. They might just be at a level that we ain't got to yet. So that's why we can't see it. Can't put nothing past these folks. That's a fact. That is a fact. Now they arguing it. This is all football related. This is easy. You can get to the answers. If you want the answers to why this stuff is happening, you can get to it. They don't want to get to it. Let's go, Chris Canty. This is going to get us into that Myles Garrett talk as well.
We got engaged.
I think I got to roll this back just a little bit. Let's go about, I think she's going to be the one who speaks on it.
Yeah, it was a very lucrative contract for you, a very lucrative deal that you made with this organization, but you had been there. You are in the building every day. You know how this story is going to end, and you chose to be there.
You made a lot of good points. The number one for me is that Trout doesn't complain that the Angels don't win.
He knows what time it is.
Yeah, Myles is unbelievable.
I got more respect for Myles Garrett, though.
We're going to pause it there. We're going to get to that. But, Charmaine, where you at? We got to switch it up. Charmaine is making sure. Charmaine always makes sure I got the coffee that I need. Thank you for hitting the Cash App, Charmaine.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Charmaine did this.
I got money.
So I can say that. I appreciate you, Charmaine. Thank you as always. You always looking out for me. You dropping in all the time, so I definitely appreciate it. So far, Charmaine is the sponsor of the show. So everybody, if you could, please put Charmaine in the chat. She is the current sponsor of the show. Is greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back to them. They are saying Myles Garrett can't complain. He can't complain. He can't complain. He can't complain because he took the money. He took the money. Okay. Now, we're just going to set this straight about the Myles Garrett situation. Myles Garrett, they would have took a crazy cap hit if they would have traded Myles Garrett before the draft. So they couldn't trade Myles Garrett before the draft because of how his contract was structured. Also, Myles Garrett has never been franchise tagged by the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns had him under contract. They couldn't trade him before the draft. You don't trade a player like a cornerstone piece unless you trade him before the draft so you can immediately get something in return for him. You don't lose a year without him like Jerry Jones did in Dallas, and now you're trying to find pass rushers. Makes no sense. So it's part of the reason why they didn't trade him. Then he could always, there she go. What's going on, Charmaine? Appreciate you. Then they could always franchise tag Myles Garrett for 2 more years. That gave them 3 years of control for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, they would have had his control until 2028. Until 2028. Beast asked me, how long is Myles Garrett under contract for? They signed Myles Garrett to a contract extension. He is under contract until 2030. What they also did was they gave Myles Garrett a no trade clause. What they also added to his contract was a very large dead money cap hit. The reason why you add a very large dead money cap hit is because every time Myles Garrett goes to them and say, hey, you know what? I want out. They can say, we can't take an $80 or a $90 million cap hit to get you out of this deal. So it's a contract and it's a situation. He's not going to be traded. He wasn't going to be traded. So he said, you know what? I'm just going to sign the extension and take the money. Because he couldn't be traded. He never had the leverage. He was not about to be a free agent. He had never been franchise tagged. When they keep bringing up Myles Garrett taking the money, they don't know what they're talking about. He didn't have the leverage. The Browns had all the leverage. So them saying this is very lazy. Is this a binding contract? Can players just leave? I just tuned in. If you have a certain amount of leverage in the situation, if you are about to hit free agency, if you have already been franchise tagged a la Dak Prescott, then you can find your way out. But that's why there's so many less trades in the NFL than there are in other sports because of how they sign the contracts. So in most cases, players are there. They can't just leave. They can say all the time in the NFL, players request to be traded. They never get traded. And that's why, because teams know they got the leverage. So that's what they do. You're going to hear a lot of people keep talking about this. I called out the Cleveland media for talking about this. It was something that was never going to happen. Fake outrage. He puts his body on the line every play. So I'm not mad at him. He earned that money. Put that same energy on Kevin Stefanski and DG. Terrible calls in play. I totally agree. Do y'all remember when I was saying people are diminishing greatness and these guys are putting their body on the line? And I disagreed with Earl. And I said the fans don't care more than the people who are putting their bodies on the line, who are going to live the rest of their lives with injuries. Exhibit A. These are the reasons why. So you shouldn't expect more because you play for a losing organization. Got it. No. Zedric, that is not what I'm saying. Not at all. I'm saying I love the fact that Myles Garrett is mad. I love the fact that Myles Garrett is saying we need to do better. That is what I want to see. I think when you sign up, when you sign that contract, they're trying to win. You're trying to win. Whoever is not trying to win needs to leave. The people who are trying to win needs to stay. I am 100% with Myles Garrett that he needs to call them out at every chance he gets because they can't trade him and he can't go anywhere. He is the reason why they can become better. I do not, no. I don't think anybody should be signed up to just keep losing. I don't think that. No, you played this game to win. Even though he got paid. Okay, got you. Woo. Zedric, you had me there for a second. You had me. I was, woo. Don't be doing that to me, man. You got my blood pressure running. I might turn my fan on. Okay, all right. We on the same page. Okay. Woo. You had me for a second. You had me. I'm sick of Myles, Kevin Stefanski, DG, and the Brownies. It's hard being a Browns fan. It's hard being a Browns fan. See, I'm not sick of Myles because he's shown me that he still cares. He still cares. Miles has the leverage now. Yes, he is the one who can go up to the owner and say, I know you want to keep Kevin Stefanski, but we don't believe in him. And then what is Marie's favorite line?
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job.
That's what Myles Garrett could do. That's what they could do. They could not play well just saying, yeah. Or they can say, my ankle hurts. My back hurts. I'm sore. And they cannot play. That's what they can do. I don't understand why people think because you make a lot of money, you have no heart, no passion, no right to demand change for the better. I totally agree with that. This is how I look at it. Sometimes people need you to break things down in ways that, you know, just the everyday person can kind of deal with. So if you are going to your job and you are the assistant manager, not the manager, but the manager does not care, and y'all bonuses are tied to y'all performance, the manager don't care, he's just happy to get his paycheck, you will be upset. You'll be very upset. You will say, hey, you're putting my bonus on the line because you are lazy. It's no different with these teams and these players. Kevin Stefanski is putting their legacy on the line. Joe Antonio, if he was on a winning team, he would most likely have potential to make the Hall of Fame. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame because he's been on a losing team. So their legacy is tied to the coach. They should emphatically complain when things are bad and they see it's bad. So all the people who were saying that, I was the one who was like, no. I'll give y'all one more example. In a relationship, and everybody has dealt with relationships before, the one sign that the relationship is over is when one or both parties don't feel nothing about nothing. It don't matter what happened. They don't have no energy to argue. They don't have no energy to correct you. They don't have no energy for nothing. It's a wrap. Something has to give. Something has to change. It is the same way with the NFL. Something got to give. I just saw your short about Myles Garrett, and you're right about Myles pushing Kevin out of there. Yep. He's the one who can go up and he can change everything that's going on. He is the one. You can tell the defense believes they can win and potentially make the playoffs. Need that same belief with the offense. I agree. You need changes. You need changes. One thing they're going to do is they're going to highlight Myles Garrett not sitting with the team, right? That's what they're going to highlight from that picture. Let me not tell you. Let me put it up. They're going to highlight Myles Garrett sitting away from the team. Y'all notice there's other people who's also sitting away from the team? Let me get to it. It wasn't just Myles Garrett who wasn't sitting with the team. So I have it here for y'all. Let me switch this over. We're going to get back to Chris Candy. Okay. So it's a little bit small on here, but Myles Garrett is at the bottom of the screen. He's sitting away from everybody else. You can't see him. Y'all want to know who else is sitting away from the team? Right here. Actually, let me do it on here so y'all can see it. Right here. It's not showing my mouse. Okay. Right above my head, it's going to be to right above this hand. That's Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit is not sitting with anybody. Grant Delpit is sitting by himself. If you look straight across that line, who else is sitting by themselves? Denzel Ward. Those are your three best defensive players not sitting with the team. They are all taking it in like something has got to give. Your three best players. They are the ones who can make the change. What's going on, Van? So that could be the plan to keep everybody and bring them back, but that's where the change. They can make the change. Is that Shador that they're in the proximity to? Let's look. I know Shador was not dressed. I don't know did he have on a white hat? I want to say he had on a dark color hat yesterday. And it looked like that person might be wearing Jordans, so I don't think that's Shador. Shador don't wear Jordans. It could be. Don't quote me. I'm not sure if that's Shador or not. Yeah, I'm not. It could be Shador, but I'm not 100% certain. But your 3 best defensive players are sitting away from the rest of the team. That's an example of your problems to come. That is an example. Let's see what Chris Canty has to say because he disagrees with the lady that I just played.
I appreciate that he is complaining that they don't win because
you signed up for that.
It's like complaining that your spouse is cheating on you when they cheated on you before you got engaged. You knew they were cheating.
Time out. We're getting too hyperbolic because you're saying that he signed up for that, and I get the history of the Cleveland Browns, but every player goes into every season believing that there is a path.
Hold on, y'all. We got to stop it. We got to stop it. Sorry, Chris. We got to take you off the screen for a second. Got to take you off the screen.
Oh my God! Wow!
We got somebody else. They went and did this. They definitely gonna have me saying this today. Actually saying this.
I got money.
This is what I need y'all to do. I need everybody in the chat. I need y'all to put Misty in the chat. Please put Misty in the chat. Misty just hit the Cash App. Her message says, "You're good at this." Misty, I try. I appreciate it. Y'all kind words. I always tell y'all speak life into me. Y'all keep me wanting to show up and do this and get better, do more newborn research for y'all and have a better understanding for y'all. So I greatly appreciate your kind words. I greatly appreciate your donation. So thank you. It's greatly appreciated. Everybody put Misty in the chat for me, please.
I got money.
Did you see that catch yesterday from DG to Thrash? It looked like he didn't realize he caught the ball. I laughed because it was comical. Need better play calling than Shador end. Definitely. I think that's the one where he was running across the middle and he was kind of surprised. I'm going to have to add that to the list for the breakdown. But you should never be shocked that you actually catch a pass. You should expect to catch passes. So I trust your eye, Marie. So that's not a good thing. That ain't a good thing. Shout out to Misty, everybody. Let's get to Chris Canty. I think I got this too fast for Chris Canty. He speaks at a decent pace. Let's go here.
For his team to be more competitive than the general public thinks. And I'm pretty sure that Myles Garrett, who is the anchor on one of the best defenses in the entire National Football League, believes that if they can get some semblance of competent quarterback play, i.e. Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett or Dillon Gabriel or Shador Sanders or eventually Deshaun Watson, maybe, just maybe, we can find a way to be in this thing once we get to December. Now, it hasn't worked out for them that way, but to that I will say, at some point, Kevin Stefanski is going to have to make a change just for change's sake, because it's clear that Myles Garrett's frustration is shared by everybody else on that team. And when you got the optics of your best player slamming his helmet on the sideline after Dillon Gabriel goes out there and throws 2 brutal interceptions in the second half of that game that effectively seal your fate, at some point, something has to change. And it boggles my mind that Kevin Stefanski is adamant about sticking with Dillon Gabriel after the bye week, after we've seen the quarterback throughout the course of his first 4 starts rank dead last in yards per pass attempt, yards per dropback, air yards per attempt, and have the second worst QBR during that span, only to Titans rookie Cam Ward.
And who would you like him to go with?
When Shador Sanders is healthy, when Deshaun Watson is healthy, go with one of those options.
See, he thought if he asked him that question at the end, he wasn't going to give an answer. But you should know Chris Canty by now. He going to get you with an answer. I'm tired of the Cleveland media blaming the offensive line and wide receivers. It's the quarterback. You are on to something. Lemroyo James. I like that name. Shout out to Misty. Bro, I'm a Giants fan In my 60s, I wouldn't be here if you weren't good. CC needs his own show with those two clowns who don't understand football. Chris Canty really don't miss much. So in the summer, when we had less stories to talk about, I would break down the media, and I could show y'all who in the media is usually missing. Usually in the media, the people who are missing with what they say, they have been journalists, they have been reporters, and they have not taken that next step to understand the game. In Cleveland, a lot of people are not taking that next step to understand the game. And a person, Chris Canty sounds like a genius around them too, when really he's saying the exact same thing that other guys who play football are saying. They're all saying this. It's the reporter and the journalist in them where they ask these follow-up questions that don't make that much sense. They ask the, well, what would you do questions? Like he's not going to have an answer. He hits them with an answer. So those are the people who you look at and you're like, you can't shake a Chris Canty. Go through the media. Who are the people who people are the most annoyed with in Cleveland media locally? Tony Grossi. He's not an analyst. Tony Grossi's not an analyst. Mary Kay, not an analyst. The guys on the radio, none of them are analysts. Jay Crawford, Jason Lloyd, Adam the Bull, none of these people are analysts, so they never get to the football reasons. That is what they miss. That's what they miss. And it seems like they really haven't played any team sports, so they do and say things that just are counterproductive to team sports. Thomas S., do you believe in karma? I do. I definitely do. Most definitely, except I call it seed time and harvest. They will reap what they've sown. I like how you put that, man. The Cleveland media really think that us real diehard fans are incompetent. There you go. It's a fact. Misty, I love Skip. Skip, if Skip is on your side, Skip is riding with you until the end. Skip is on Shador's side. He riding with Shador through all of this, and he is the one saying they got to fire Kevin Stefanski. If Skip riding with you, you got a real one riding with you. Very underrated. You can tell he preps and doesn't speak flippantly. That's a fact. Speaking on Chris Canty. Remember Dillon was at Oregon and they were talking crap about Colorado for views and likes instead of winning. Might have the tables have turned. We coming. That's a fact. They were saying that. That was his coach. They're steady making excuses for Dillon, especially Jason. Jason, this is what Jason does. Jason never gives you his opinion. And it's a reason for that. He never gives you his opinion because he always wants to be able to say, I told you they were going to do this. I told you they were going to be bad this year. Because then he's trying to wiggle out of you ever tying him down to how he truly feels. That's what he does. He just plays that game. Quincy is a joke too. I used to watch Quincy. I stopped watching Quincy probably right around the time I started doing this. So I've been doing this for over a year now. And I noticed this. Have y'all noticed in the Cleveland media, whether it's the podcasters or it's the people who actually cover the team, the beat writers, they all read the same script. They all read the same script. And once I realized that, it was a point last year before Deshaun Watson got hurt, it was Jason Lloyd, Mary Kay, Tony Grossi, Jay Crawford. It was people on the radio, Quincy Carrier. They all started saying the same thing. And when they all did that, I stopped watching all of them. I'll use them for clips to just show my counterpoints, but I don't watch them to take anything from what they say. They say what they say, but I don't watch them for that. Because once I saw they were all on the same wavelength, I was like, wait, so if you just come out and you study football, you're going to move ahead of these people, even if it takes time. So that's why I just put in the work. Leroy James, you're dead on point. I appreciate that. Jason protecting his resource. Stefanski, yes, he is. I'm glad you're doing this. Leroy James, I appreciate that. Words have meanings, y'all. Words have meaning, and I appreciate the kind of things y'all say. I haven't made my mind up about Cam Newton yet. Used to love him. Cam Newton is certain points that I can ride with him on. So when Cam Newton is speaking on his experience in football, when he is speaking on like breaking down how they call plays, breaking down how they speak to you in the huddle, breaking down things like that, I think he's really good. The mistake that I think Cam makes, it's probably not a mistake because it gets him views, but the thing that I see that he does when he tries to play the contrarian role and just take the opposite side, I always think that's just for theater. It's just for show. And I usually don't really kind of give people too much energy when they take that side. Appreciate that, Harris from Sports. I appreciate that. Miles said it out of his mouth. I would give up 5 sacks for a win. That's a fact. That's a person who cares. That's a person who wants to win. That's why I show y'all the motivation at the beginning, because a lot of times in Cleveland sports, we haven't seen as much winning as other places. So sometimes winning is going to look exact opposite of what we see. So I show y'all the motivation, and I show y'all people who've had success so you can see how they speak. You can see the confidence they exude. You see that they don't get it right every time, but that doesn't stop them. That's the sole reason why I show y'all the motivation, to show what winners do, how winners go, how winners' mindset is, their mentality. That's the reason. Because I know y'all probably was like, why he just started showing the motivation stuff? Yeah, I'm showing you the motivation because you got to see what the winners look like. Because in Cleveland, we rarely see winners, and it's just a whole bunch of people fumbling over the place on the things that are wrong. Love your transparency and your channel. Appreciate that, Thomas. Cam talks out the side of his mouth. At times, he takes shots at Shador, and I can't rock with that. Marie, you're correct. Cam Newton, he was the first person who started the narrative that Shador wasn't coachable. Cam Newton started that narrative. Cam Newton was on First Take, and Cam Newton said, I don't know if they're coaching Shador or if he is willing to receive coaching. And Cam Newton said that because of something because Shador kind of didn't want to, he said, I'll talk to you off camera when he was at the game. I think they were playing UCF. Cam Newton was at the game. He said, I'll talk to you off camera. And Cam went on ESPN and said, I don't know if he's willing to accept coaching. First off, Cam, you're not his coach. First off, Cam, you're the one who was dissing him in public. So I don't have a problem if a person says something negative about you and you're not running to be in that person's face. I respect people who do that, who show how they truly feel about situations. And that's what Shador did. So Cam definitely did that. Cam and Shador have history, good or bad. I think he wants best for him ultimately. He could want best for him, but he doesn't articulate it well when he's speaking on Shador. I was just talking to my dad about that yesterday before I started researching sports. The only time I watched football was the Browns. Harris from Sports, as soon as you start watching more football, it jumps off the page or off the TV screen at how bad the Browns are at doing basic things. You just see it. It's there. I never knew what good football looked like. Yep, that's why you got to get outside the bubble and watch other teams, watch college, watch a lot. Quincy was at first all about the film. Then he started the narrative. The rest was given. Yep. He used to be breaking down the film. It was a switch. I don't know what it was. It was a switch. And once I saw the switch, I just said, okay. It's not a coincidence that I use all these clips from all this local stuff in Cleveland, and there's certain people I don't use. And then if you look at my shorts, there's certain people you'll never see. And then if you look at my TikTok, there's certain people you'll never see. Shador may be the most misunderstood prospect that I can recall. Man, it's almost like y'all have watched all of my videos. I had a short about that months ago, and I said they misunderstood Shiloh and Shador going into the draft. I'm beginning to think Tom Brady is a snake, but I don't know. This is what I think. Tom Brady didn't want to put his thumb on the scale to get Shedeur drafted to the Raiders, especially after they just signed Geno Smith. He didn't want to put his thumb on the scale. In hindsight, it would have been the right thing to do and say, hey, we don't believe fully in him. Let's get a young quarterback. But just look at where the Raiders are now. So he got to live with the decision. Why do you think Deion called his son grown? Because he is mature. That's a fact. That is a fact. Y'all want to know something? Let me tell y'all something about me. So y'all know I remember everything. And I remember stuff from when I was a kid. When I was 4 and 5 years old, they used to call me the professor. And the reason why they used to call me the professor was I would just sit and assess every situation that was happening around me. I did that as a kid. As a kid, I did that. And I'll be looking. We'll be at somebody's house. I'll be like, we leaving, right? They'll be looking at me. What you mean? Nah, it don't feel right here. We got to go. And I've always been like that. So that's how I just continue to use that. And that's how I assess situations. So when Coach Prime calls Shedeur grown, I totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, Shedeur said that to him after Cam took shots at him before that game. So Shedeur was like, I'm cool on that. I wasn't mad at Shedeur or Cam Shady. Yeah, Cam, he had those moments. That's why I say he got those moments where it's like, hey, what you doing? Why you talking like that? Like I said, I've never seen the Browns go for a 75-yard play drive in 14 plays when the game is on the line. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Harris, that's so crazy, man. That's why you got to look at other good. You got to look at other good teams. You have to. Lemuroy James, I'm going to promote this channel. This will be the official Browns channel. Hey, I really appreciate that. I appreciate it. I just try to do the research and be myself and show up as myself every day and have a vision for where I see it going and do everything I can to make that vision come true. So I appreciate that. It would have been considered a handout nationally. All right, I got to read some of your comments. Prospect. Oh, okay, got you. We were talking about Tom Brady. Yes, Zedric, I agree. That is for sure. Shedeur standing near them. Okay, I thought it was. I wasn't. Latika, I wasn't fully sure, so I was kind of looking, trying to see. You have discernment. I appreciate that. That's a word that we hear a lot, but you got to act on it. So when you have those situations where you feel some type of way, you get it in your gut, feel in your stomach, you got to act on it. So I just act on it. I don't try to find outside reasons. I just call it my philosophy. Like I have a philosophy of how and why I break things down a certain way, and then I just stick to that. And I don't get to all the other outside things. So that's what I do, and that's how I show up every day. Let's see if there's any more we got to hear from Chris Canty.
Hell, even if it's Bailey Zappi, go with one of those. At some point, you're going to have to do something different because continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So
there you go. It's insanity for them to keep doing. Shedeur was on the sideline eating peanuts. Shedeur over there like, hey, this your problem. This ain't my problem. This has been another great stream. We hit that 2-hour mark, so we definitely got it in today. I want to go back to how I start the show and just something that motivates me. Let's see if I still have it here. I think I do. Down. I believe Kevin is on the hot seat now. And it's one thing. Let me find this for y'all real quick. Let's see. Let me find it. Subs was under 400 last week. Momentum is starting to build. Yes. Definitely moving up the ladder, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Each and every one of y'all, I appreciate it. This is how we started this show, so this is how we're going to end the show. Let me find a good spot. Denzel Washington is my favorite actor. Let me find a spot. Okay, we're going to end the show how we started the show. Man, when I said we was only at 150, that was like 2 weeks ago. That's a fact, Harris. That's a fact. That's a fact. Just keep showing up, keep putting in the work. I appreciate that y'all even take notice to it and y'all see it. You and G Bush have good takes. I appreciate that, Q-Dog. I like G Bush. G Bush, he always stick to his square. He's not dancing around because of what other people think. So I always respect and appreciate people who can't be moved so easily. They're standing on how they feel. Here's another level. Here is another level of greatness. I showed this at the very beginning of the show, but we're going to show this now. This is my favorite actor right here.
Russell Hornsby, if it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that. Love that. Just wanted to show the motivation. And that's the reason why I play the motivation. I play the motivational clips so we can see greatness in real time, because usually as Browns fans, we don't get to see it. So I want to show y'all what it looks like. Keith, I've been watching Cleveland since Brian Sipe when I was in high school. When I was in the Marines, they were called the Cardiac Kids. That's a fact. They were called the Cardiac Kids. I do remember that. Van, even better, I saw it when it was in the 300s. Yes, we moving on up, and I greatly appreciate y'all. Shout out again to Misty. Shout out again to Charmaine. I appreciate y'all for being the sponsors of the show. This has been another great live stream, so clap it up for yourselves. I definitely appreciate that, Zedric. We're going to do this thing again. We're going to do this on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. We're going to break down some more topics. Also, we're going to get some film breakdown on Wednesday. We'll have the all 22 out. We're going to look at third downs. We're going to look at some of the plays that were there to be had in this game. And we're going to see if there's anything that could change one day. Idea one day, you can go over the greatest coaches football one day. Oh, off the top of my head, the coach that I appreciate the most is Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh. That's my number one coach right now. Bill Walsh is it. Bill Walsh was the inventor of the West Coast offense. That scheme is still used today. Hands down is Bill Walsh. That's my guy. Look into Bill Walsh. Look at his football life. It's really good. Look at the book he wrote. They call it the Diary of Football. So definitely Bill Walsh. I appreciate y'all. Keep doing you. We will keep supporting you. I appreciate that, Shanithia. Charmaine, see you Wednesday. Marie, you're right. Everyone, have a blessed day. Harris Room Sports, we locked in for Wednesday. I appreciate y'all. This has been great. We're going to be back with another great show on Wednesday. Thank you. I'll catch y'all on Wednesday. Peace.